Good morning, Prof. Adina. You still unmute.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning. Thank you for this invitation.
Ya, muito mais.
Thank you. Terima kasih.
Muito mais.
Thank you, you too. Maybe I would like now to, because I connected with an account I used for conference. Now
Okay,
I will try to change my name on here, or I don't know if it's fine like that.
you can click in the
Yeah.
besides mute,
Mhm.
and then you can choose.
Yeah, I know.
You can choose adjust background and effect. And then you can add image.
Yes, but I have an image. I have this image. It's fine. It's okay.
It's
I
okay.
think, do you see because you sent me
Yes.
the background of the conference? Okay.
Okay, muito mais. Okay, Mr. Marcel, I think you can start the session.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Verma, for this opportunity. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, students, and educators, and especially our guest lecturer, Professor Dr. Roga Adina Penisci from Romania. Good morning. It is a privilege and heartfelt pleasure to open today's session on uh, the resilience of educators, tools for balance, growth, and flourishing in the era of rapid change, increasing demand of maintaining national and cognitive pressure on teachers. So this topic is too relevant to discuss about. So, and it is an honor to have you today in our session, and we will try to explore so much your research on burnout and stress from you. And I'm going to start this session, and I hope that it will be a wonderful session for all of us, and we will learn so much. Uh, with this, I will request to the committee that we will start our session with the Indonesian anthem. So if they can start Indonesia Raya.
Indonesia tanah air.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I will request Professor Dr. Marmo PD, the head of the master program in Teacher Education and PGST, to please give the welcome address, please. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bashir. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Warm greeting from the Master of Elementary School Teacher Education Study Program, Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Universitas 11 Maret. The first time, let me extend my heart gratitude to our distinguished speaker and participant who have joined us today. Professor Aurora Adina Jolomesi. She is the Dean of Faculty of Educational Sciences from Stephen Selmare University of Suceava, Romania, whose expertise and insights promise to enrich our understanding of the resilient educator, tools for balance, growth, and progress. Bunda Deminata, Prof. Adina.
Bunda Deminata, good morning.
Yeah.
Thank you for this
Okay,
kind
my part.
invitation.
Say my part, Sanbini.
Yes. Bina mulțumesc. You learned a lot of Romanian language. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
mulțumesc.
you.
The second, Professor Dr. Fayat Norma Yunita Indrianti, Master Science, the Vice of Dean for Academic and Research Affairs, Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Universitas 11 Maret. Thank you, Prof. Norma, for your time.
Very welcome, Prof. Marmoa. Good morning.
Morning. Okay, the moderator, Mr. Basir Ali, Master of Education, the lecturers, all the student and alumni of the Master of Elementary School Teacher Education Study Program. Thank you for your join. Today marks a significant moment for us as we gather to exchange ideas, share materials, and explore innovation to contribute of the advance of quality education. Our theme this time about fostering positive behavior and professional attitude in educator, highlight the vital role of the teachers and creative approach play in shaping teachers' resilience and well-being. Your participation and contribution to the guest lecture session will make it truly meaningful. We are confident that your knowledge, ideas, and discussion will inspire actionable solution of challenges in education. I hope all the participants, especially my students, who join in the Zoom meeting can learn more from Professor Adina Aurora Jolomesi. Please, everyone, take advantage of the question answer session. Why? Because in my mind, a resilient teacher can manage their own stress and adversity and act as a role model of their students, fostering a positive and motivating learning environment. So please learn and manage your time. I think this agenda is one of collaboration between Master of Elementary School Teacher Education Study Program and Science Education Faculty of Stephen Selmare University, Suceava, Romania. On this occasion, we would like thank you, Professor Dr. Norma Yunita, who will open the guest lecture activity this morning. Many thanks, Prof. Norma, who has taken the time to participate in the guest lecture activity. Finally, I would like to thank all the lecturers of Master of Elementary School Study Program, the organizing committee for their hard work in organizing. I think your dedicating ensure that this occasion continues to be a forum for exchanging knowledge and fostering academic excellence. Once again, welcome to guest lecture to 2025 from Master of Elementary School Teacher Education Study Program. May today be a fruitful discussion, meaningful connection, and shared idea. Thank you for all. Wish you all successful and inspiring life. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, back to Mr. Basir Ali, please.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Marmuha, for this wonderful welcome speech. And now I will request Professor Dr. Namita Yunita Indravati, SPD, MSI, and MSc Vice Dean of Academic and Research Affairs at Skype UNS, to please give an opening speech and start the session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Wazir. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yes, good morning, everybody here in Indonesia, and good, still very early morning, right, in Romania, Prof. Adina Kolomesi. Yes, the Honorable, the guest lecturer today for Elementary Education Study Program, Master, Professor Adina Kolomesi, from Dean, Faculty of Sciences in Education, University of Romania. Very much, Prof. Adina. And then the head of Master Program of Elementary Education Department, Professor Marmoah, all of the lecturers in Elementary Education Program, and then the participant of guest lecture. I'm sure that here we have teachers as well as students or pre-service teachers. Okay. This morning in 5th July 2025, in Saturday, Elementary Education Department Master Program, or here in a research group that led by Prof. Marmoah, conduct the very important event, this very outstanding event to have you learn from Prof. Adina how to be a elementary school teacher that more qualified, and then how we can implement, how we can learn from the expertise of the risk now to be implemented at school. Yes, as you know, Universitas 11 Maret as well as Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, we have a vision to be center of development in the science, technology, and arts. Yes, in the field of educational science and also teacher training, that have reputable international reputation, that implement noble value cultures. So this is the event to strengthening the vision, to reach the vision how the elementary education department support the university team. Invite Professor Adina Kolomesi to share the experience, the expertise here to our teachers, our lecturers, and students that mean a lot for us. Thank you very much, Prof. Adina. And Prof. Adina and Prof. Marmoah also has already have a very, or we call it the best collaboration, right? International collaboration. And then Prof. Marmoah also visit Romania to have to do research and joint publication. Hopefully, this is also followed by other lecturers in elementary education department. And for the teachers, all of the pre-service teachers, I mean that the student in master program, also the undergraduate program, to be a teachers is the things that very important. From teachers, we can change generation. From our things, from our behavior, from our sharing to the students, this can be change their insight, their knowledge. They can be motivated to be more. We call it so the generation that we give in the school as well as in university will be impactful to the future generation. So I very appreciate for research group and also study program that helped already this important event. And then for Adina, Professor Adina, thank you very much. Hopefully this is not only we call it general things that we do, but this is the initiation go further collaboration that is impactful to sustainable development for education. Yes, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I officially open this guest lecture that held by Elementary Education Study Program and also research group that led by Professor Dr. Momoah. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Narma. Thank you so much, Professor. And now I want to start the session, and I would like to introduce Professor Adina. It is an honor to introduce today's guest speaker, a visionary educator and internationally renowned scholar, Professor Aurora Adina Chelsea. She is the Dean of Faculty of Educational Sciences at Stipu Selmere University of Romania. She has 24 years of academic and professional experience. She has made a profound and long-lasting contribution to the field of educational sciences with the expertise spanning emotional intelligence, educational psychology, pedagogical counseling. She holds a PhD in educational sciences, and her research focused on social and emotional development of gifted children. Her academic output is both prolific and impactful. She is the author of more than 60 scientific publications in Scopus, book chapters, and peer-reviewed articles in top international journals. And her research focused on emotional intelligence, teacher burnout, and student attitudes toward learning. So, beyond publication, Professor Aurora has an active contributor to European academic life. She has presented over 25 international conferences in Barcelona, Lisbon, Belgrade, Istanbul, and so many other places. And she is also she is a project coordinator and evaluator in European Union funded programs, include Erasmus and other projects about resilience and inclusion of well-being. So as a member of several prestigious organizations, she is continuously advancing the science education on a global scale. So today, we are truly privileged to gain from her wisdom and experience. So please join me in offering a warm welcome to Professor Aurora Adina Lomosi as she delivers a lecture that promises to inspire both thoughts and transformation. So I would like to not waste more time, and I would like to request Dr. Adina to please proceed. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor.
Good morning. Thank you very much for this kind introduction, and thank you very much for your invitation. I'm really honored to be again in this virtual space opened by your university and opened by the program coordinated by Professor Marmoah. I can say that I have a long cooperation. We developed our cooperation since I think 6 years ago. So we can say now that we are on the way to develop our even stronger cooperation and possibilities to exchange our experiences. If I may to share my screen, I will try to share my screen. Okay.
Okay, please.
Yes. Could you see my screen? Okay,
Yes.
and
Yes,
okay,
clear.
and now I hope I also it would be appropriate for the presentation. Just a little to
You can click in the under like glasses.
okay. I need to okay now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are going to talk about teachers' resilience and well-being. Since I'm in this space, I will focus mostly at the beginning on some researches done in the European educational space area. And also after that, we will try to figure out the main information related to teachers' resilience and teachers' well-being, how these two phenomena are impacting the flourishing and the growth of the human being and mostly the teachers. And if we have enough time, I will propose some practical activities, but if not anyway, you can use it on your own pace. Here is an instrument or a tool which is entitled a barometer of emotional state. It is proposed by Professor Brackett from the Yale University with his model ruler related to promoting social emotional learning. But I would like you to reflect on yourself and to try to self-evaluate your own state of mind, considering two dimensions, energy and pleasure. So if you ask yourself, how much energy do I feel I have right now? And if your energy is high or low, please decide if you feel high energetic or low energetic. And the second question is, how pleased I am today at this time? How is my level of contentment with myself, with my activity right now? And you have two ways of answers, like pleasant or unpleasant. So if you combine these two answers of the two questions, because you already found out that you have either high energy or either low energy, and you also found out already if you feel high level of pleasure or low level of pleasure, so pleasant or unpleasant, you will put yourself in one of these quadrant which are different from their colors. So if you are red or blue, if you are yellow or green, you can decide yourself which is the quadrant that define you. And continue. Now you could find out the emotion which is more appropriate for your state. For example, now I'm feeling that I have a high level of energy and also a high level of pleasure. So I consider myself joyful and connected. So each of us presented here, we could choose for one or two emotions that are most peculiar for this, for today, for right now. I really hope that most of you are situated now in yellow or green. But if you are blue or red, I hope during our conversation and our presentation, you could change your emotional state. This is the first, let's say, experience. It's a practical experience, but it could be very insightful because we can decide and we can define our emotional state, and these enable us to be more aware about our own state of mind, about our own emotional state. And starting with that, we could be more skillful in manage our emotional state, so we could be more skillful in manage our resilience and well-being. I would like to start with an experience related by a Romanian actor and writer. He is famous here in Romania. I'm not expected, not at all, that you know something about this person, but I just want to share with you that he is a very well-known writer and actor. And he said like that: "When I was born, there were no signs of any success in my life. I had a very pronounced squint. I was dyslexic and could barely read. Everyone around me made fun of me, teachers and children. I was called the class fool. I had notes with these nicknames stuck on my back at break time. I was always told I drew badly, and then I didn't draw much. I was in pain. I understood that I was stupid, ugly, and no good at anything." Then, in the 5th grade, a teacher came in and saw a hidden drawing of mine and talked to me for a bit. Then he looked me straight in my eyes and said clearly, "You are a genius." And I started to be. What could we understand from this sharing, from this life experience as a student, considering that today we are talking about a very well-known actor and writer? We could say that the teachers have a great impact, not only in the specific way at that time when they are in a connection or a relationship with the students, but for the students' life growth path. Because here it was a teacher who understood him, who saw him, and started with this experience. Our child who was suffering, who was in pain, started to be a better version of himself, or he started to be the best he could. We will try to go on with an overview of recent research findings related to the challenges of the staff well-being, of the teachers' well-being. And if we survey a little bit the researchers and the literature in the domain, we found out that stress, burnout, and mental health issues widespread among faculty and among teachers. And there are some factors that are included here, like increased workload, funding pressures, student numbers, performance-driven culture, precarious employment contracts, and insufficient integration of staff well-being strategies. We are talking about schools in European educational area. So here, all the teachers consider they have high amount of workload, and there are a lot of financial issues when we are talking about the educational system, not in, let's say, not in all the European countries, but when we are talking about the Eastern European countries, and Romania is one of the Eastern European countries, we can find out all these factors that are considering to be challenging for the well-being of teachers. Also, there are some difficulties related of the digital aspects because more of the teachers reported problems in terms of technological issues. These stressors are additional. They were identified as and considered like a digital overload because technological stress appear to be another kind of stress, and the exhaustion due to digital work tasks appear to be another challenge for the teachers. So starting with this challenge, we found out this necessity of enhancing digital competencies and protective policies. When we are talking about factors that are supporting resilience and well-being, we found out as the most important factors being the social support and community, the collegial relationships and peer support, the sense of belonging and inclusive climates in the schools, and also all these, let's say, social and organizational factors are combined with the personal coping strategies, because all the teachers need to have these self-care routines to develop emotional coping skills, to have this life-work balance very well defined, because it is very important for all the teachers to manage and to have this effective work-life separation. If we are started to talk about the challenges, of course, in order to face these challenges, an important role, it has professional development and institutional leadership. And here we can find the opportunities for creativity, for learning and career growth that are boosting the resilience. These are, let's say, moderator factors that can support and raise the level of resilience, and also the importance of the supportive leadership, which is actively fostering a supportive environment and which is implementing systemic approaches for teacher and generally talking staff well-being. If we want that our children to grow in a safe environment, in most of the, and mostly in a safe emotional environment, we need our teachers to experience well-being and resilience. And if we need our teachers to experience well-being, we need the leadership of the school to create these opportunities for learning, for career growth, and for developing a systemic approach in order to promote well-being. I can just make a short comment about the educational policies, for example, in our country, in my country, in Romania, because we have here, not for a long time, I think only for 3 or 4 years, we have implemented a policy for promoting well-being in schools. So all the headmaster, when they prepare their leadership plan for the school, they need to have a dimension well developed and well-rounded established with action points for promoting well-being at school, not only for the children, but also for the teachers. So it is important to combine this dimension when we are talking about the organizational and the leadership of the school. Generally speaking about the well-being and resilience, there are some documents, some European documents, like this one, promoted by the NESET. NESET is a network for emotional and social education. And the recommended is a whole institution approach. This means that mental health, well-being, let's say social emotional learning need to be embedded into institutional policies and governance, and the compassion and the sense of belonging and equity as institutional values to be cultivated. As I've already said to you, in Romania, we started to have this policy to define some action points related to promoted well-being, but it is very important to cultivate all these values like institutional values, and to promote mental health literacy for all the school community and preventive support. An interesting model for intervention in schools is this one, SHIELD model, which means which embed some comprehensive coping strategy, supportive leadership, efficient workload management, self-care routines, and peer collaboration, and promoting healthy lifestyle habits and work-life integration. We can see here in this model that we can combine both the point of view from the leadership and the organization, and the other point of view from the personal level of the teachers, because on the one hand, we need this supportive leadership and efficient workload management, and on the other hand, we have these self-care routines and promoting peer collaboration, and also the personal life of a teacher who needs to use useful tools in order to make balance and to have this work-life integration very balanced. Moving forward, there are some recommendations and future directions when we are talking about the research related to well-being and resilience in school. So we expect that resilience to be enhanced through integrated policy and proactive interventions, to prioritize teachers and staff well-being as being central to institutional excellence, and to foster cultures of sustainability and resilience, not only in higher education, but also in all the schools. Since our topic is about resilience, we try now to go on and to explain or to see how, what literature and what research says us about understanding resilience. Resilience could be defined in a general way of speaking as flourishing despite adversities. So actually we can see all over around us in the environment, in the natural environment, some flowers that are raising or that are growing through stones, for example, or trees that are growing through stones. What does it mean? That the nature has this natural tendency to be resilient, to flourish despite the adversities. So we can learn from the nature. and we can transfer all these lessons, important and insightful lessons from the nature. We can transfer in our organization, in our educational system, because we can create that environment that, despite the adversities, the children and the teachers could flourish. Now we come back to the definitions, to the theory and research, and we could find out a lot of definitions related to resilience. There is a history in defining resilience. First, at the beginning, resilience appeared to be as something magic, as something related only to some special kids. They were even defined as being like super kids. But we now what we know that resilience means a good combination of personal traits with organizational and external dimensions. So Unger and Jeffries defined resilience as being capacity to handle stress and environmental support. Another conceptualization is positive adaptation despite adversity. This is the general conceptualization, and we need to memorize it because we are talking about adaptation, flexibility in a positive way despite adversity. Resilience, we can talk about resilience in the presence of adversity. Another definition is ability to recover and overcome challenges, and another one is adaptation supported by promotive and protective factors. Beyond simple bouncing back, resilience is complex, is a dynamic adaptation to threats, as Anne Maston underlined, is accessing multiple resources, psychological, cultural, social, is, we can say, it's ecosystemic. We cannot talk about resilience itself only as a trait or only as a psychological asset. It is defined by cultural and social factors. It is an ecological understanding of resilience, considering this combination of psychological with cultural and social dimensions. It is also could be understood as a transactional sociological phenomenon or as individual agency in overcoming and transforming adversity. Teachers' resilience, it's very important, and it is a concept itself. We are talking about the specificity of the educational context. So teachers' resilience means to maintain positivity amidst pressures and job demands, to have this motivation and to pursue your vocation despite the adversities. And also it is understood as a multidimensional dynamic interaction of personal and contextual resources. The outcomes of the teacher's resilience means enhanced persistence, adaptability, and reduced attrition at the personal level of the teachers, means positive well-being, reduces impact of the stressors. Here is an interesting study published in Social Psychology of Education, a very interesting journal, and put a relationship between resilience and burnout, because we need resilience, of course, to bounce back from an adversity, to face and to cope with the adversity, and burnout appeared to be an important challenge for teachers all over the world, because if we know, and I think all of us know, since we are teachers or we are teachers to be, if we are if we are talking about the students, the teaching profession is one of the most stressful profession considered in the world. So the resilient teachers exhibit significantly fewer burnout symptoms as a result of the researches. Resilience significantly mitigates the negative effects of existing burnout system, and in line with this prior work, this effect shows up as well an intervention program targeting pre-service teachers. So we have this kind of results not only when we are talking about the teachers who are working in schools, but also we found out there are researchers that found out the same results in studies done with pre-service teachers. So resilience leads to additional health promoting effects, indicate that teachers with high resilience experience significantly lower levels of psychopathological symptoms and negative emotions. Also, the literature assumes that health can be positively influenced by training particular personal resilience resources, so we can achieve stress resistance. And there are other studies demonstrated that self-efficacy related to classroom management skills functions as a resilience resource by significantly reducing stress perception. Also, another important factor, a supported factor or protective factor, is positive social connections in teachers' occupational environment, which influence or which has a positive influence on stress perception. Resilience results in a significant increase of well-being, and compared to other professions, resilience could be considered a strong predictor of well-being in the occupational context of teachers. So it is important to cultivate resilience as a predictor for well-being. And we know that if we try to promote a safe and a good environment for children education, we need to cultivate the well-being of teachers. So resilience could be a strong predictor for well-being, and we can train or enhance the resilience level of teachers. When we're talking about resilience in relation with teacher attrition, the empirical findings also support resilience as being health promoting to influence prevent high attrition rates. And also the results indicate that teachers reporting high intentions to leave the profession showed significantly lower resilience compared to teachers reporting lower dropout intentions. The authors found out 3 resilience resources as a potential cause for this pattern. First, personal strength, which the authors define as the presence of self-efficacy, optimism, and goal orientation. The social competence and strong family cohesion. So we can see from this research that there are some personal important resources like personal strength, self-efficacy, social competence, and also the social support. And the strong family cohesion is always an important resource. Teachers' personal resources listed by frequency, we could find here some resources, and we can see that on the first place we have optimism and the sense of vocation, because the teaching profession is a vocational one. After that, we could find out other resources like humor, When we are talking about teachers' resilience factors, we could see here also self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is a very important factor, not only for resilience, but also for well-being. So we have here a result of this research, but we can say, for example, from our own research on done on the teachers in Romania or in our international consortium, because we run a lot and conducted a lot of European partnership research. We found out that self-efficacy, it's a really, really strong predictor for resilience and well-being. Here we have also social competence and self-care, teaching experience as being an important factor. Actually, talking about the teaching experience, there are some studies, and also in our country and in other countries, showing that high teaching experience is related with high levels of resilience and well-being. The beginners are more prone to the teachers, the beginners teachers are more prone to experience low level of well-being and to be more exposed to stress and to burnout. Also here we could find out other factors important for resilience, for teachers' resilience, like classroom management. And this factor is related with self-efficacy because we are talking about self-efficacy related to school, related to teaching profession. And classroom management is an important function that teachers need to take care of. So to be to have a high level of self-efficacy related to classroom management really helps. Goal orientation or gratitude, why not? Reflectivity and emotion regulation and gratitude, which are some emotional intelligence or emotional competence dimensions. Also, when we are talking about social environmental resources, because resilience, as we've already established, it's not only a personal asset, it is developed as a process between the combination of personal and contextual factors. We could see that relationships, appear to be an important resource for teachers' resilience, and also the administrative support and professional diversification. So we can see here how important is the environment and the climate, the school climate, because we have here the relationships, and we are talking about the relationships established with other teachers, with headmasters, and also with the children, and the administrative support. Relationship between teachers' resilience and well-being, it's an important issue to talk about because positive relationship between resilience and teachers' well-being, it is considered and we could see in the research that social support could be a mediator. And if we remember what we were talking some minutes ago, just 1 minute ago, that the social support is an important factor of resilience, this could be considered as a mediator between the resilience and well-being. So if resilience impacts teacher well-being in a direct way, it is also impacting the teacher well-being through social support. So if the teachers has an important level of resilience, this influence the social support, and the social support could conduct to higher level of teachers' well-being. Also, the effective classroom management is linked to higher teacher well-being. Why it is important to promote and to have this higher level of teacher well-being? It is spread out on a stronger teacher-student relationships, on reduced psychological stress, enhanced student well-being, and promotion of the emotional intelligence in classroom. So it is indeed very important to cultivate well-being and resilience for teachers in order to create the most appropriate emotional context for education, the next generation. So some factors enhancing teacher well-being and resilience, we could find out these positive work experiences that improve well-being. So meaningful work, positive workplace relationships, and favorable work environment. So this is more, this combine both personal strengths, but also the contextual factors, because we are talking about the meaning that teachers are giving to their own work. But also it is important to see and to cultivate at the organizational level the relationships in order to be connected and positive, and this work environment to be the most, let's say, cultivating the positive relationships. When we are talking about these PERMA elements, PERMA is a model of the well-being developed by Professor Martin Seligman, and I expect that you know already, and combine these hedonic and eudaimonic dimensions of well-being, like positive emotions. PERMA is an acronym, so we have P from positive emotions, E from engagement, R from relationships, positive relationships, M from meaning of work or of life, and A for achievements. So if we combine positive emotions with high level of motivations and engagement, with positive relationships, with meaning, which is we extract from our life experience, we could develop our well-being. So hope, self-efficacy, resilience, and optimism appear to be an important factors for enhancing teacher well-being and resilience. And these key well-being factors are linked to resilience, not only well-being as a whole, let's say as a whole asset, but also the dimensions of positive emotions, engagement, strong support systems, meaning in life, and the sense of accomplishment. There is an interesting model developed by two researchers from Australia, a WARE model, aligning well-being and resilience in education. And resilience and well-being appear to be distinct but related constructs, and they often blur conceptualization in research. Sometimes they are so connected, but they, for sure, they are distinct constructs. And this model proposes a framework to clarify and understand the interaction between well-being and resilience. We can see here that we have the well-being both at the beginning and at the end of a process where we try to cross, let's say, contextual challenges, but also to find out our resources. So when an event or a situation appeared to be, we need to evaluate, and as a human being, and if we are talking about the contextual situation of a school, let's think as a teachers in school. So we have, let's say, a particular level, we experience a particular level of well-being, and an event or a situation appear to be. The first step is to evaluate, to appraise, and there is an appraisal of and emotions regarding this event and situation. So if we appraise it or if we evaluate it as being a positive, of course, we will use the resources and go on and we'll keep our level of well-being. If we evaluate the situation and the situation appear to be neutral, also we use the resources and go on. But if the situation appear to be negative or stressful or threatening, we need to enhance or to activate our resilience in order to look for strategy to select and activate all the strategy we need to use the resources in order to keep our balance and to face and to cope with the challenges. So here resilience appear to be as a process that make us cross the challenges and to apply all the strategies to lead to an outcome like changes in our strategies or to build up new capacities. So after that we reappraise or reevaluate the outcomes, and we continue to adapt as necessary to the challenges. When we are talking about resilience, I would like to mention a quote, to have here a quote developed by Jon Kabat-Zinn. Jon Kabat-Zinn is the founder of the mindfulness concept, and all of us are knowing about mindfulness and what it is. So Jon Kabat-Zinn said, "You cannot stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." And Michael Ungar, who is a proficient researcher and a very top scholar, researcher in resilience. He coordinates Resilience Center of Research at Dalhousie University in Canada. He said, yes, you can stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. But it's easier to learn to surf if you have a surfboard, a coach, and a lifeguard. What does it mean? It is easier to learn to surf the waves, so it is easier to start to be resilient, to learn to be resilient, to surf the waves, if you have proper resources. And these resources means you have tools like a surfboard, you have coach, you have people besides you, you have connections who can teach you how to surf, and the lifeguard. Of course, it is very important to have always to have these protective factors. Going on now, related to this theory developed by Professor Ungar. Professor Ungar consider resilience as being an ecological approach with this combination of personal and contextual resources. He developed a list of 12 resilience resources, which are very important to have in mind, we as teachers, because it's important to see and to evaluate our own resilience resources and to see where we can build up more resources in order to be better prepared in case of different challenges. So the first resource Ungar defined is structure and routines. We can promote all these resources also in our relationship with children, and we see that if we have a structured environment and the children have routines and structure, they could be better equipped in order to face or to cope with challenges. Also consequences. So we have rules and consequences. Intimate and sustaining love from others. It's important to have these connecting positive relationships, lots and lots of supportive relationships. So not only this personal connection, but also a large area of supporting relationships. A powerful identity. It is what we learn in school, and is very important for our children to get the powerful identity, a sense of control, let's say availability, and this understanding that the people could have the environmental control, a sense of belonging, culture, spirituality, and life purpose. So the cultural and spirituality to be embedded in our everyday, let's say, life, but also in the education context. Rights and responsibilities. It's not only rights, but also responsibilities are very important to build up our resilience. The fact that the basic needs are met, positive thinking, physical well-being, and at least but not the last, let's say, the financial well-being is also an important resources as an external contextual resources for promoting resilience. Here there is an exercise. I'm afraid we will not have time to do it, but you can have all this material, and I will strongly invite you to assess your resilience resources doing this exercise. It's just an exercise to fill in the blank in some sentences. But of course, you need to reflect on your own life, and you'll see how could you, or what could you say about your own resilience resources. So you have sentences for all these 12 resources, and after that, of course, you can reflect on deeper and deeper on the possibility to enhance your own resilience, because as we've already mentioned, resilience goes and sustains the well-being. And now if we are talking about the well-being, we know that it refers to a state of being healthy, happy, and comfortable, both physically and mentally. It encompasses a sense of contentment and satisfaction with your life and a positive outlook on your personal and professional experience. Well-being, again, has been defined as a combination of feeling good and functioning well, because it's not only, let's say, this hedonic experience with feeling good, to have positive emotions and to enjoy life, but it also encompasses the dimensions of meaning and relationships and engagement with work and with achievements. And so it's not only feeling good, but it also functioning good or doing good, as Martin Seligman said. said that's so it's feeling good, functioning well, and doing good. The term subjective well-being is synonymous with positive mental health, and we have this comprehensive definition of the positive mental health from the World Health Organization. Is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, potential, can cope with the normal stress of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. So well-being means or impact the community. My own well-being has an impact on my environment, on my social environment, and also on my community, because when I experience this positive mental health, I am able to contribute with my potential. I enhance, I function at the highest level of my potential, and I can contribute for the better, for the better of the community, for the common good of the community. Well-being has been linked to success at professional, personal, and interpersonal levels, with those individuals high in well-being exhibiting greater productivity in the workplace, more effective learning, increased creativity, more pro-social behaviors, and positive relationships. It seems it's the best recipe for the teaching professions. So if we have teachers who experience high level of well-being, we can be sure that they are very good professionals in their own workplace, and they could contribute for the better of their students. Here is the PERMA model, which I've already introduced you with the 5 dimensions. And I would like just to mention the role of positive emotions in promoting well-being, because also as a teachers, we need to generate positive emotions in order to create that secure, positive environment, to establish the base, let's say, the fundament where we put the seeds for the learning in our children. So our children first, they need to be connected, and they need to be protected, to feel protected and connected with the teachers, to have all this, let's say, path of communications opened. And on this good environment, they could learn, and they could grow, and they could participate in their own path of personal developing and learning developing. So there are studies showing us that engaged and happy teachers foster engaged and happy students. And today the research on happiness, or in its better known scientific construct, subjective well-being, has shown that happy individuals, or those who experience frequent positive affect, are successful across multiple life domains, including marriage, friendship, income, work performance, and health. There is an important and very useful theory developed by Professor Barbara Fredrickson, the Broaden and Build theory of positive emotions. And this theory shows us that positive emotions appear to broaden people's momentary thought action repertoires and build their enduring personal resources. Positive emotions facilitate behavioral tendency, and the author suggests that with positivity, people are able to see new possibilities, to bounce back from setbacks, to connect more deeply with others, and reach their potential. So we just need to think about of our own life, and we are experience contentment and enthusiasm and happiness. Of course, we have more ideas, so we can see new possibilities and new ways to combine our experience in order to face all the challenges we have. The broadened effects of positive emotions means that the positivity expands our outlook by broadening our field of peripheral vision, there are studies and experiments, and they show that effectively, when we feel positive emotions, we can see more and we can find more possibilities. Also, the build effect of positive emotions mean that this broadened mindset is the basis for discovery of new knowledge, new alliances, and new skills. So this is the building effects of positive emotions. We can see the possibilities and we can grow from these possibilities. These resources can emerge in several different forms, including cognitive, social, psychological, or physical outcomes. And an important result of this theory is the build effects of positive emotions. In 2005, Barbara Fredrickson and Marcel Losada collaborated to explore the impact of positive to negative effect. They developed a positivity ratio. They called this division between positive and negative positivity ratio that distinguish between a flourishing and a non-flourishing state in individuals. And the positivity ratios at or above 2.9 are associated with human flourishing. This means that, let's consider a day of our life, an ordinary day. So if we experience a negative experience, so we have a negative emotion, we need to have at least 3 positive emotions in order to counteract the negative effect. So pursue a flourishing path. So this means that we need to generate positive emotions in order to facilitate growing. I also prepared here an exercise, but I will let you do it after that. It's a personal self-evaluation for the positive and negative effect. And after this personal evaluation, you could find out your own positivity ratio. Here is a study I did with a colleague of mine of our university on a sample of 1,335 teachers, and we found out the positivity ratio of 2.84, which is very, very close to the ratio established by Fredrickson and Losada, and we consider that the Romanian teachers they had a very good positivity ratio, and this means they could influence in a better way the children. Another exercise could be this reflection to choose from the positive emotions. I just want to for you to be aware of the positive emotions we could experience. Barbara Fredrickson defined 10 positive emotions, and I just want you to be aware of it, because these emotions could and need to be generated in our classroom when we are working with children. So joy, the ability to experience pleasure, could be generated by pride or the feeling of being valuable. It is important for us to promote joyful experience in the class. Also gratitude, it is important, is an important emotion for well-being. Serenity, or inner calm, interest in the world, life, and yourself, hope, the confidence in tomorrow, amusement, which is the power of humor, inspiration, the reason for living, the appreciation of the creativity, the beauty, the excellence, and love as a very complex emotion, which could be the engine that moves the world. So we have here at least at our ease at least some positive emotions like joy, pride, gratitude, amusement, inspiration, interest and curiosity, hope, and love, positive emotions we need to cultivate in our classroom in order to build up the possibility for our children to learn and grow. Another interesting theory, it is that one developed by Professor Corey Keyes, the theory related to mental health and mental illness, which are considered as being two axes of a continuum model. And he makes this difference between flourishing and languishing. So we saw from our last theory developed by Barbara Fredrickson that the positive emotions are the base for a flourishing, and we need these positive emotions in order to promote a good environment for our students' flourishing and for our own flourishing as a teachers. And Professor Keyes said that it is important to keep us on the path of flourishing and to try to overcome and not to experience the languishing. Flourishing describes a state where individuals combine high level of subjective well-being with an optimal level of psychological and social functioning. We can see here again this combination between subjective, personal traits, psychological, but also the functional, the social dimension of well-being and mental health. On the other hand, languishing describes apathy, a sense of restlessness or feeling unsettled, or an overall lack of interest in life or the thing that typically bring you joy. So we need to reflect on the on this part of life of flourishing versus languishing, and to try to see that mental well-being means to have high level of subjective well-being and a few mental illness symptoms. There is also a possibility to measure mental health using this theory of mental health continuum, and you will have the possibility, of course, to do it maybe after this seminar, and I really hope that I could open some reflection points and some curiosity in order to find more and to search more about the mental health and the way to measure mental health. Now I just want to underline let's say the vitamins or the most important things to do in order to help people flourish, considering Professor Corey Keyes' recommendation. So exercise, he proposed this kind of interventions, exercising, like physical exercising, social interaction, pro-social behavior, learning something new every day, playing and having fun, and engaging in spiritual activity. So what do you think? How many of these actions we can do in the classroom? Of course, all of them. So we can promote an experience for exercising in one day at classroom. We can, and we have this moral duty to facilitate good social interaction. We have also this moral duty to facilitate in our children to develop pro-social behavior. And of course, it's our job to create learning experience for our children to learn something new every day. Of course, it's our job to create that environment for playing and having fun. And also at school, and at home, of course, but at school, we can engage children in spiritual activity. So let's be happy that we have at our own ease such powerful tools to be used in order to promote flourishing experiencing and flourishing contacts for our children. Considering ways of fostering resilience and well-being, we can either have these two kind of approaches to put our emphasis on the individual resources and in the same time to emphasize the social and community resources. So when we are talking about the individual resources, we are talking about strengths in action, social and emotional learning, positive parenting and caregiving, coping skills, mindfulness, promoting a growth mindset. When we are talking about social and community resources, we are talking about mental health support, community and social support, educational opportunities, prevention programs. And of course, another activity which is not, maybe you can reflect on right away. Think about the statement I am going to propose you, and choose a number between 1 and 7, where 1 means strongly disagree and 7 strongly agree. And write down your score for each statement so that you can keep track of your answers. And the statements are like that. I know my strengths, so you can see how strongly agree or disagree on this sentence. Other people see my strengths. I don't have to think hard about what my strengths are. I know what I do best. I know the things I am good at doing. I know when I am at my best. Of course, you can do this self-assessment exercise, which, by the way, it is promoted by Professor Ungar from his Resilience Research Center. And to find out the strengths, because the strengths are the base for personal resources when we are talking about resilience resources, personal resilience resources. So if you sum up the scores and then divide by 42, you could find, let's say, a medium score of your own awareness of your own strengths, and the higher score mean greater awareness of strengths, which is important as a resource for resilience promoting. And at the end, I just want to give you another point of reflection, considering a situation of a teacher. Let's call him Sam. Sam is a teacher. Sam struggles to find ways to develop his strengths and talents at work. Although Sam loves his job, he needs more opportunities to show what he can do and needs to receive more recognition for the contribution that he already makes. So how can Sam's employer, supervisor, and colleagues help Sam make better use of his strengths on the job? Now you can have a hat. Please put a hat of a supervisor or of a headmaster or of a colleague, and try to think about how you, from your own role under your hat as an employer or as a supervisor or as a colleague, how could you help Sam make better use of his strengths on the job? So we expect this kind of thinking from schools as organizations, because they need to have policies in order to sustain the resilience and well-being through this kind of support, through this kind of activities, to give teachers, let's say younger teachers, but not only younger teachers, the opportunities to be aware of their own strengths and to put their own strengths in action in their work. Because strengths, when we use our strengths, our talents, we are more likely to reach our highest potential and feel fulfilled, to feel confident and have higher self-esteem, to cope better with stress and be more resilient when facing challenges. So I hope that we have opened a lot of ways for reflection. And my last question for you is, what do you do for your own well-being and resilience now that we have together this journey through theories, through researches, through some practical tools, practical reflection? This is my last question to you. Actually, it opened a point of reflection. What do you do for your own well-being and for your own resilience? Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope I didn't use more time than we had expected. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Adina Vamsi, for this wonderful presentation. It was full of knowledge and information. So I'll try to summarize this, and then we will move towards our agenda of questions and answer session. So Professor Adina has delivered a wonderful and powerful research-based lecture on the resilient tools of balance, growth, and flourishing, addressing the growing challenges in education, such as stress, burnout, and overloaded work on the teachers. She emphasized on the urgent need to support teacher well-being in higher education. And, drawing from the recent research, she explored resilience as a dynamic capacity for adaptation and growth, and she presented different frameworks, different models, offering strategies for leadership, emotional balance, and institutional change. So this session has highlighted high resilience in teachers lead to reduced burnout, better engagement, and improved student outcomes. So this was a great commitment to the cater of well-being, reminding us that resilient teachers building thriving educational communities, and that investing in growth is an investment for our collective future. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Adina, for this wonderful and thoughtful presentation. Now I will open the session for the question and answer. So anyone who has any questions, so they can ask.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, excuse me, from Mr. Wasser, from Adina, can I discuss about teachers' resilience?
Okay, you can go with your question.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your time, Mr. Wasir. Okay, thank you so much for Adina. I think a nice presentation, nice material, and today I have new knowledge, new experience about resilience. Yeah, about something about mental health. Yeah, a teacher resilience, flourishing, aware model, yeah, and the other one. So do they have new sentence? Yeah, I know my strengths. I know what I do best. I know
when I'm at my best. So, okay. Based on your presentation, you have discussed about teachers' resilience factor. There are many things, such as gratitude, emotion regulation, reflexivity, time management, distancing ability, rational copying, goal orientation, classroom management, problem solving, teaching experience, flexibility and openness, self-care, social competence, and self-efficacy. So, based on your experience and the result of your research, I have question. Which one the best factor influencing in the resilience of primary teachers, primary school teachers in Europe, especially in Suceapa of Romania? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. We presented a lot of factors, but we found out also in our research, for example, self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is a very good predictor both for resilience and well-being, because what we mean through self-efficacy is this belief in my own possibilities of reaching the goals. So if the teachers has higher levels of self-efficacy, so they believe a lot in their own possibilities, they have their own agency in promoting a good professional experience in class, related to classroom management, related to relationship with children, they will have this higher level of resilience and well-being. And also we found out that, for example, if the teachers are working in order to develop children's social emotional competencies, they develop themselves their own resilience and social emotional competence. So this self-efficacy in promoting a good teaching experience for the children, and also their self-efficacy in promoting social emotional learning experience for children could contribute to higher level of well-being and resilience. So we don't need only to, let's say, do some specific activities. We need to practice believing in ourselves, to practice our teaching, believing in ourselves as a teachers, and this could be helpful to promote well-being and resilience. I hope this is an insightful answer for your question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for answer, and thank you so much, Dr.
Yeah.
Professor Marmoha, for your question. I think
Yeah.
that we must move
Betul,
to
Mas, Prof. Adina.
if anyone else has any questions, so they can ask or they can in the chat box. Okay, we have Ratna Vidya. Ratna, you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wazir. I would like to ask Prof. Adina. My name is Ratna Irmayanti. I want to ask, can a setting healthy boundaries to be seen as a form of resilience for the teachers, and how can the teachers taking care of their well-being without feeling guilty when they need to say no?
Could you repeat? Sorry, I cannot hear very well.
Okay, sorry, Prof. Adina. I would ask about, can a setting healthy boundaries can be seen as a form of resilience for the teachers, And how can the teachers take care of their well-being without feeling guilty when they need to say no about extra work? Thank you, Prof.
Mhm. Okay, thank you very much for the question. It's a very good question related to work and personal time balance. Indeed, I think here we need to develop assertivity. And we need to develop these communication skills because we need to be assertive in order to be resilient, to set boundaries, healthy boundaries, and to say no, as you said, without being guilty of saying no. So this means to be assertive. To be assertive is a skill which is trained. So we need to train our pre-service teachers and to train ourselves as a teachers in getting more and more these assertive communication skills. And this means that you can be firm and polite and you can respect your own rights, but also the rights of the others. But we need as a teachers to know that we have our own rights and we have our duty to be faithful to ourselves too. So I think the answer is training assertive communication skills. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. We have a question from Mohammed Faizi. Mohammed Faizi, Fauzi, you can ask a question.
Okay, thank you for the time that I would like to ask Mrs. Adina. In recent years, the well-being of educators has become central concern in higher education across Europe, especially in response to growing professional demands and mental health challenges. My question is, what strategies are most effective in promoting teacher well-being in European higher education today? Okay, I think that's all my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I can mention, let's say, one measure. It is very important to have this peer connection and peer collaboration. I don't know in your schools, but here and in Europe, there is a competition, maybe more than cooperation sometimes. And we need to have to create teams and the supportive relationship, and also the support from the employers and the support from the, let's say, from the leaders to create this good environment for cooperation and for developing research and activities using teamwork. Partnerships, teamwork, support from leaders. These could be some strategies in order to sustain and promote well-being and resilience in teachers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Adina.
There is, yeah, Risma Rahmawati, you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wazir. First, I would like to say thank you for Prof. Adina. It was very insightful presentation and very informative for us. I'm Risma from Elementary School Education. I will ask for Prof. Adina. In Indonesian, Prof, we have administrative duties like financial management and school administration, Prof. Now, I would to ask, how can educators maintain their mental well-being and emotional well-being amid heavy administrative duties and research publication pressures? Thank you, Prof.
This is the way, or this is the life of teachers. They need to combine many roles. They have these management roles in the classroom. So they combine both teaching, research, and administrative. And this means that teachers could have their own strengths. They know their own strengths. They have structures and routines. If we remember the resources promoted by UNGAR, but also they have a good network and support, social support. So we need to combine our own talents and capacities and skills with social support. By our own, it's more difficult to succeed by our own. It is important to have this network and to have at least one connection. You know, there are studies saying that it's very important for our well-being and for our happiness to have at least one good connection. And if we have at least one good connection, we could be consider ourselves happy. So here in the organizational context, we need to have at least one good connection, one good relationship with a peer, with a colleague, with if we have the leader support is even better. But it's very important to combine our personal strengths, actually to put in action our personal strengths, and also to benefit from the relationship we established with the others. I hope
Thank
it will
you.
be. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we have another question from Devina Kasuma. You can go ahead.
Thank you. I want to ask to Miss Adina. Earlier, it was said that financial well-being affect the resilience of educators. Does teacher income or salary also affect the professionalism of teacher in teaching? How does your country provide well-being in terms of income for educators? Thank you.
So the question is about the effect of the income to the well-being.
Professionalism of teacher in teaching, well-being, yeah.
The income, we are talking about the income or the professional. If you can repeat, sorry. Could you
Earlier,
repeat the question, please repeat the question, because I'm not sure if we are talking about the income or not.
yeah,
It's about the income.
yeah,
Yes, we know that as we remember, it is already established also by research that the income has an influence on the well-being, but only on the happiness of the people, but only at a level. At that level, even if the income is raising, the well-being is not raising. So it's more important for the teachers. The teachers, of course, they need to have their own salaries at a decent level. But it's more important for the professional and professionalism and the teaching outcomes, the prevalence of the meaning the teachers is giving to the teaching profession. So the vocational factors, because if we remember some studies and some outcomes of the research we mentioned before, we didn't find out the financial factor. We found out most about the relationship, the social support. We found out about the optimism, and we found out about the self-efficacy and the meaning, the achievement, the vocation. So yes, it is important, the income. And if I may, I can break it here now and to share you that, for example, in 2023 in Romania, in my country, we had 1 month a very big strike of the teachers in the pre-university level, and they they asked, of course, better condition and the quality in education, and they asked the raising for their salary, because it's important also to, as a society, to have a good, let's say, to give the teachers a decent level of income, but this level means to be a decent level. It doesn't matter if it is very high, because also the researchers said that there is a correlation between income and well-being, but only at a level. After that, even if the income is raising, the well-being is not raising anymore, because well-being is more than this. It's more than income. It's meaning. And for teachers, it's more important the meaningful part of the life. I hope this it's a
Thank
good
Thank
answer for
you.
you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much. Yeah. Professor, I want to ask one question before we move to the end of this session. So when we look at higher education, so we see especially the female educators, they have dual responsibilities, not just as academic, but same way they have the responsibilities of being a mother, being a wife, and so on. So how do you see this thing that, especially in the context of Indonesia, many women lecturers with newborn babies and children face compounded stress due to cultural caregiving expectation and the absence of flexible university policies. So based on your experiences, what strategies or institutional models would you recommend or support the psychological well-being and reasons of academic mothers navigating the dual demands of early motherhood and their career progress as well?
Yes, it's very interesting and very good question. It's more a reflection. I think all over the world, women are facing these challenges, but maybe in Indonesia they are facing more, because if you said you do not have very, I don't know, very useful social policies. And in this case, I think social support is very important. And we are going back to what we were talking about some minutes ago, about the resources of the resilience. And if we are looking at at those 12 resources, we can say that there are connection within family, and there are social support within the organizational context, and this sense of belonging. And I think the institution could cultivate this sense of belonging of the teachers to the organizational culture of the university or of the school. And I think the appreciation or the valorization of the activity of the women could be also a trigger or a protective factor, an important factor in order to make this life work balance to function well, so they could respond well to all the duties, both in the professional level, but in the family level. So I think it needs the help of the society, the social support, both at home and at the university or at school.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the wonderful answer. If someone had any questions, so we are going for the last question. After this, we are going to wind up. So I think that we are at the end of our session. So I will request to the attendants, please fill the Google form for the attendance. And I would say thank, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. As we come to the close of this truly enriching and thoughtful, provoking lecture, let us take a moment to reflect on the insights that we have gained. So today, through the insights and experiences of Professor Aurora Adina Cholomsi, we have come to see that resilience, not just a personal trait, but as a human strength that can be nurtured through support and emotional well-being, especially in teaching. We have been reminded that behind every resilient educator lies not only determination, but a network of care and meaningful connection. Resilience is not silent endurance, but it is intentional growth. On behalf of all, especially on the behalf of Vice Dean Dr. Norma Vanita, Professor Marmo, I'm very grateful to Professor Adina for this powerful research and deeply inspiring session. Your message has sparked important reflection and renewed our commitment to fostering well-being. Thank you, and thank you so much. And we'll wait for next time to see you again. Thank you. Thank you so much for this inspiration and thoughtful lecture. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much.
Thank you
And thank
very
you, the
much.
audience.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Basir,
I wish
please
you a great
take a
success.
picture together. Take a picture together,
Yes,
Mr.
yes,
Basir.
please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Mbak Deka, please.
Ya, J, Prof. Kami mohon untuk seluruh peserta untuk membuka kameranya. Kita akan berfoto bersama. Slide 1. Oke. Slide 2. Slide 3. Slide 4. Sudah, Prof? Sudah cukup, Prof? Sudah
Okay,
selesai.
thank you, Mbak Deka. Okay, thank you so much from Adina. Say hello for Prof. Tudor from your voice. All the
Thank
lecture
you.
at Sama University. Miss you. Miss you.
Miss you too. Thank you very much for this kind
Yeah.
invitation. It was a
Yeah.
pleasure and an honor. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, everyone. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Mr. Basir, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Itu toh tidak ada pendampingnya. Terus mereka Oke, Mas Mbak, jangan lupa presensi ya. Oke. Oke, thank you, Prof. Adina.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ya, miss you, miss you.
Dari filosofi semua.
Itu permintaan.